Hey everyone, welcome to the Get Your Life Together Girl podcast, the ultimate blueprint to self-love and inner peace. I'm your host, Danielle Van. As a cognitive behavioral therapist, a life coach to women, meditation teacher, and author, I've spent my life studying and learning from those stories that make us human. It's my passion and goal to help you shift your mindset and create a lifelong revolution to help you reach your greatest potential. Stress, anxiety, depression, all of these things are active in our world today. And none of us are actual strangers to any of these issues. Many people are living in fight or flight, in survival mode right now, and reaching inner peace is something that feels nearly impossible, especially during the holiday season with all of the forward movement and things to do, financial stresses. So today, you and I are going to take a one-on-one deep dive into turning inward and finding inner peace. Inner peace is not something that you can just simply turn on. It's not something that you decide to do and then just do it. Inner peace is a state to be achieved and then improved upon. It's really a lifelong journey and commitment. And today we want to talk about how to find inner peace and what it feels like and what it looks like. And instead of leaning into the stress, let's lean into a new expectation, an expectation of peace. The Get Your Life Together Girl podcast starts right now. Well, it's December, and it's a time of joy. It's a time of happiness and gathering, but it's also a very crucial time when people begin to experience pretty high mental health issues. They become very prevalent. We feel this push and pull that takes us into a space of feeling overloaded, overworked, underappreciated, and also feeling like we have to people please our way through so many situations. We forget to use our breath. We forget to allow ourselves to slow down, and the world just keeps spinning faster and faster and faster. And for many of us, this becomes a cycle of self-destruction. Inner peace is something that we all need to achieve, but just thinking about it, wanting it, doesn't provide it for us. And so I wanted to talk today about stuff that I see so often in session, which is this expectation that things should be different than the way that they are. And that if we just focus on inner peace, that it will be something that is cultivated into our lives. And in some ways, yes. In other ways, no. Right? So let's talk about inner peace. Let's talk about ways to achieve it. Let's talk about this initial state of mental health that really is necessary for all of us to get to at some point or another. You know, many people practice spirituality because they think inner peace is a piece of that. And in many ways also, that's true. But to understand what inner peace is, you have to understand what inner peace is not, right? And this is the biggest thing when it comes to the holiday season, when we're trying to lean into peace and there's all this stuff happening around us. So this is what inner peace is not. It's not being passive and letting life pass you by. I want you to know that. A lot of times during the holidays, we try to put ourselves into these little passive boxes. We try to people please our way through it, and we become very passive as to not rock the boat. But that doesn't actually bring you inner peace. Okay, so remember that. We're going to talk about that more in just a minute. Inner peace does not come simply by being calm and never experiencing. A lot of times I'll hear people say, well, I'm just focused on really staying calm, and so I'm not doing anything. I'm just meditating, I'm journaling, I'm going to work, I'm doing the things, but I'm not really engaging anything outside of those experiences, and that will not provide you with long-term inner peace, right? Inner peace is this beautiful thing that happens because you are centered, not because life is being shut out. So important to know that too. Turning down opportunities to grow in your life and to do new things does not bring inner peace. Having no energy because you're keeping everything inside does not provide inner peace. Being quiet, reserved, or even timid, nope, doesn't do it either. There are so many things that bring inner peace. Let's talk about exactly what it is. But one big thing that I want to point out is inner peace has very little to do with the things that other people see you doing, experiencing, showing up as. Inner peace is achieving happiness and contentment, not through the things and accomplishments that you have achieved, but instead it's with the reconnection of the self. It's that grounded center I talk about all the time. Inner peace is about becoming a fuller version of yourself, not necessarily adding to who you are, but rediscovering and deciding what is worth it to you. What attributes, values, beliefs are necessary for you to show up as your best self? This is inner peace. It's a major part of it. It's being whoever you want to be because that's the best version of yourself. And having clarity and this presence of calm because who you are is authentically you. Inner peace is letting go of these superficial things. These things that weigh your mind down, these external things that actually add no value. It's getting to the baseline of who you are, what you want, what you need, and how you want to feel. Inner peace is accepting everything, your life, your career, your background, your story, your body, your everything, so that you can actually show up. Inner peace is a beautiful experience. It's noticing when you are stressed or anxiety is underpinning your actions and your thoughts and giving yourself space to clear those things out of your mind. It's making sure that you take your inner journey and your outer journey as seriously as you do everyone else's. It's putting yourself first at times when needed. It's this mental state of having enough knowledge of the self to keep oneself strong, even when stress happens. It's self-compassion. It's this understanding that you can have really hard experiences and still stay stable in the storm. Inner peace is healthy coping. It's knowing that no matter how healthy you are in your mind, in your emotional body, in your nervous system, that there will still be times that you will experience anxiety and stress, and that you have the ability to not chase those things away, but instead be in those things and be okay with it. There are symptoms of inner peace, if you will. There's this tendency to think and act deliberately rather than from those anxieties, those fears, the past experiences. It's this unmistakable ability to enjoy the moments that you have. It doesn't matter how hard things are, it's still this understanding that each moment has something good within it. This is a symptom of inner peace. There's this innate, noticeable loss of interest in judging others. There's no need for it. It's like, I understand that your life is yours and mine is mine, and what you do is for you. And as long as it doesn't deeply impact me, we're good. I have no reason to sit in judgment of you. The same is turned inward, and there is this serious lack of self-judgment. It's knowing that I am showing up as the best I can and that this brings me peace. Will I fail? Yes, I will. But I'm okay with it. There's even this loss of interest in trying to anticipate or interpret other people's actions. You've heard me talk about qualifying discovery questions. If you've listened to the podcast before, inner peace has a lot to do with that. It's this need to let go of what you think other people are saying, feeling, or doing. It's instead asking, hey, what did you mean by that? Hey, can you tell me your intention? What were you thinking? What were you doing? Let me understand the goal here. This is a major symptom of inner peace, right? It's beautiful. It's this loss of interest in conflict. It's this loss of interest in worrying or overthinking. It's this frequent understanding that no matter how hard things are, there's still something to be grateful for. It's contentment. It's sustainability. It's this feeling of kindness. It's this knowing that it's okay to feel the way that you do. These are symptoms of inner peace. They're beautiful symptoms. They're beautiful actions. They're beautiful results of prioritizing what works for you. Doesn't matter if it's the holidays or not. It's truly this space of showing up and meeting yourself in center. Maybe all of that sounds very difficult to get to. I promise you that it's not. In fact, it's quite easy to get to, but we do have to take away some of the dangerous, negative, limiting beliefs that get in the way. These are literal psychological and mental blocks that keep peace away. And the first one that is so often, I hear it all the time, is, I will be happy when. It is common to measure your happiness based on an end result, right? We need tangible proof, but this is fleeting. Your happiness must come from within, not from without. The good things that you connect to cannot be environmental. They can't only be result-oriented. They have to be a measure within yourself that I'm okay when the newness of this goal or this experience wears off and I still want to continue to connect to it. I will be happy when I get this is a true recipe for disappointment. I will be happy regardless is inner peace speaking. Another belief that I hear so often is my emotions, my true emotions, will reveal my weaknesses, my failures, my vulnerability. If you hide your true emotions about everything that comes into your awareness and your existence, you are actually not going to find connection, first and foremost, solid relationships, or the ability to find peace. You're going to find sadness and fear and anger. You're going to try to hide. You're not going to be able to authentically be who you are. Emotions are not bad. Remember that every one of us have different definitions of our emotional understanding. And when this is the case, how can there be judgment about it? I can't judge what your happiness looks like. I can say, wow, that's so beautiful. I'm so happy you have that for you. I don't have to attach to it. I don't have to feel a certain way about what happiness or anger or fear looks like for you. All I can say is there is no quicker way to implode your path of peace than trying to force yourself into being small. Instead, your true emotions, how you feel, what you think are very necessary and important to get to inner peace. Another thought process that often gets in the way is judgment of the self based on the emotions. How often have you said, I should never be this upset? I should never be this angry. Forcing yourself to focus on good feelings only is a lie. Focusing only on positive thoughts is a lie. Your mind doesn't work that way. It is toxic positivity. When I tell you reach for something different, that's not focusing only on the positive. Instead, that's shifting the mind out of its space and finding a new path into inner peace. Most people will tell themselves based on judgment what is working for them, and then they suppress how they feel. If you want to focus on good feelings, you're going to find them. Your brain is always looking for the safety mechanism. It's always looking for something that's going to disengage your peace. You should never use should, right? Should is this mechanism that will turn any moment into a negative because it means that there's lack. All right? We don't want to do that. What we want to do is focus on everything that comes in. Sitting with an emotion is beautiful. You can change the way that you look at the emotion by saying, what's wrong with this experience? If you properly harness anger, for example, as one emotion, you can actually use it as a secret weapon to develop inner peace. I know what this feels like. I don't like it. What is the opposite? This is a secret weapon. This is where great personal power and engagement comes into play. If I know contrast, it means that I also can know what will lead me into feeling more peace, right? Let's talk about another one. This idea that you need to be happier. We have this fixation on happiness that comes through comparison. It's unhealthy, it's unnatural, and our modern culture has really done most of us a disservice. If you have this, you're happy. If you do that, you're satisfied. Guess what? Again, with happiness being an emotion, it is going to look different for all of us. But we cannot live our lives based on social parameters and judging the feelings of what others may think or do or need. This is about us, right? It's about you. If you are currently happy and satisfied, that is wonderful, but that also means you don't need to be happier. It means I'm happy with where I am now. I'm okay. I don't need to have more things or do more things or try to seek something more. Instead, I'm going to be happy with where I am and live peacefully in this moment because I want to grow on what I'm experiencing. Again, get present, be mindful. Another thing that I often hear is I need to be doing something else right now. I need to add right here, right now. Do you? If you are peaceful, why do you need to add something more? You don't. Another negative belief that I often hear that which will 100% rock your inner peace is I am not good enough. Are you sure? Are you sure you're not good enough? If you feel like you don't belong, if you feel like you're never good enough, guess what that is? It is a complete rejection of your inner peace. It is a rejection of the best version of you. It is a rejection of your story. You cannot negatively influence yourself into feeling better if the only thing you're doing is leaning into the toxicness of it all. If you're only leaning into the negative, guess what? You're never going to feel that peace. I'm not good enough. I put myself down. I'm going to stop trying. This doesn't feel good. Life doesn't belong to me. You're hampering yourself. You will not find peace. Another piece that I often hear is I am ashamed and embarrassed, and you have zero self-compassion. You need to know that your life is going to hand you experiences because you need them for the future. You need to learn those lessons so that you can feel your best. Okay? This is all very important. These are all negative things that get in the way of how you cultivate your inner peace. Inner peace is a process. It doesn't exist in these little tiny boxes. It is a space where we have to find what works for us and then work toward it. The most beautiful thing in the work is that it doesn't have to be a laborious process, okay? That's so important. It's so necessary to say because a lot of times when people are sitting in session with me, they think, oh my gosh, this is going to take so much time. I'm so messed up. All I want is a little peace. And you're telling me I've got to dig through all this stuff, relearn, rewire, retrack, and I'm exhausted already, right? And it doesn't have to be laborious. There are little adjustments that you can make to your everyday behavior that not only impact the quality of your mindset, but overall impact the quality of your life. And this is important during the holidays, right? So important because you're going to be around people that rock your inner peace if you grew up in a family that wasn't healthy. This is so important, and I want to hand these little adjustments over so that you walk into any experience that you have during this holiday season and feel okay with it, right? Be okay. Find inner peace. The first one is to stop excess self-blame. There's so much that you can take accountability for. And it's fine to step up and take responsibilities for the things that you did. But you must strike a balance between recognizing what is yours to own and what is of someone else's. Self-blame is often about what you connect to, what you own, and oftentimes they're not even yours to begin with. If you're blaming yourself, peace cannot exist. So what is this blame? What is it within you that you are blaming yourself for? And can you honorably let it go? Can you say, I did my best. I tried. I had experiences that didn't feel very good, but I actually can offer myself grace and compassion and just move forward. Can you do that? Blame during the holidays is often something that our families will use to get us to have a rise, to get us to do exactly what they need us to do. You used to do this, you used to do that. There are things that are outside of your control. There are things that are in your past. I didn't know any better, and therefore we let go of these things so that our inner peace is not rocked. On the other side of the spectrum lies the victim mentality. This is also something that can really rock your peace. If you're constantly finding external reasons to justify your behavior and your life, you're never going to take responsibility for your own actions, and therefore you are trapped in this ability to only stay in the negative. If you want to find inner peace, you have to ditch the victim mentality. You have to let go of the idea that things have happened to you and get into a space that you know that things happened for you. Right? It's so important. Another piece that are so prevalent during the holidays are grudges, right? I don't want to be around so-and-so. I don't want to do this because they did that to me. Now, there is a difference between boundary lines that are so necessary to hold and then grudges. A grudge is a waste of your mental energy because often the person that you're holding a grudge for doesn't care. Right? They don't care. It's gone. It's not in their thought process anymore. Without the ability to move on, you're shielding yourself from new experiences and new opportunities, and most certainly your inner peace. Built up resentment stops you from achieving this feeling of balance. It keeps you stuck and isolated in certain events. You're wasting your mental energy. So if your aunt or your uncle, your grandparent said something that was stupid, great. That's on them. That's for them to own. That doesn't mean that it doesn't have to impact your relationship. What I'm saying is stop allowing it to impact the relationship with yourself. There is no reason why you should hand over someone that much power. I don't care what their title is. There is no reason to beat yourself up and keep yourself away from peace because someone else has something they must own. Another big piece of the holidays that rocks our inner peace is this idea of perfectionism. You have to understand that chasing perfectionism will keep you away from peace because you train your mind to never settle for anything. And I'm not talking about settling in a bad way. I'm talking about really being okay with where you are, right? Peace is a muscle of sorts. And like any muscle, you have to exercise it if you want it to stay strong. If you want it to be consistent and support you, you have to put energy into it. It's important. You have to learn to reach for mindfulness. Turn off the distractions. Turn off the chatter when you walk into a room and everyone has something to say. That's great. That's your opinion. Thank you so much. I'm not handing over my peace. Because if it costs you your peace, it's too damn expensive. Challenge yourself to work in a space that you can say, does this serve me? Am I channeling my energy into stuff, into things, into thoughts, into feelings that actually are going to lift me up off of the ground? You have to be willing to challenge those thoughts too. And in all of that, start working on healthy relationships. Although inner peace manifests from the inside out, It's important to create an environment that inner peace can be developed in the first place. Healthy relationships help to eliminate the noise you experience on a day-to-day basis. It makes it easier to focus on the things that you need to. When you have a healthy relationship, it sets the standard to feel good. It gives your mind something to find and to hold. It's like having a soft space. In all of that, when we're talking about healthy relationships, I want you to do something so important, and that's kick the approval habit. It's natural to want to be liked and loved, especially by family members, especially by people that you have special connections to. But sometimes their approval kicks out our personal peace. You have to accept that not everything you do is going to be acceptable in the eyes or the heart or even the mindset of someone else. And if it works for you, then you have to know that it works for you and be okay with that. You have to allow yourself to find stillness, because that's where peace is. And in the stillness, that means that your mind is settled in the things that you're doing. You're okay with it. It's self-approval, not approval on the outside, right? Let's talk about ways that you can find this inner peace beyond letting go of things. And let's talk about the pathway to peace. It's so important that you find a quiet space, that you take it, and that you enjoy the quiet. It's so interesting what happens when you begin to prioritize stillness. I'm not talking about meditation. That's a whole other mindset, a whole other practice. But what I'm talking about is just taking 12 minutes, 12 very simple minutes in the morning, and give yourself just a little space to not do anything, to just be. Science has proven that it takes approximately 12 minutes of calm to lower your stress hormone, the cortisol. If it's high in the morning, you're going to impact your entire body, your hormone system, your thought process, your emotional body for the rest of the day. But if you can bring that cortisol down in the very beginning stages of the morning, guess what? You're setting yourself up for inner peace, joy, and happiness. So instead of checking your phone, why don't you take a cup of tea outside and have a moment alone? Sit in the sun, or find some space to just lie on the floor, to put your legs up on the wall, to journal, to do whatever. Take 12 minutes to find that quiet. And I guarantee you, in that, you're going to find peace. This is especially necessary if you're traveling during the holidays. If you take that time, you're going to be less reactive and therefore less likely to give away your peace. The second is to engage in meditation, right? Now, here's what's so important. I teach meditation a little different than most people. I don't always need you sitting quietly. I don't need you umming. I don't need you to do the things that maybe you traditionally think that meditation is. What I really want you to do is to get into a place where you're downshifting the brain power and getting into a space of deep focus. You can do this while you're washing the dishes, okay? You can let the water run over your skin and feel the reactivity of your skin against the sponge or the cloth that you're using. You don't have to judge or label or think too hard about what you're doing. You just be present. And in that presence, guess what? Inner peace finds you. You can sit and be quiet and be okay. You can also take a walk. Physical energy is necessary. When we have a lot of pent-up emotions, we do not have peace. A physical release of emotions is necessary. So what can you do to allow yourself to have a little physical exertion and feel good, feel productive? It's going to bring those stress levels down. It's going to allow the mind to, get quiet. It's going to allow stillness to be something that you reach for and activate. These are the pathways to peace. If you're in your car and you have a long commute, do so with the radio off. Be quiet for a few minutes. Doesn't have to be the entire time, but give yourself the opportunity to bring awareness to your thoughts and feelings without judgment. This is a mindful exercise that allows you to reduce the negative emotions and gives you a space to just feel and be. It's okay. Complete unfinished tasks. That allows peace. Remove clutter. Relax your body. Give yourself time to rest your eyes without actually sleeping. This is a big one. Think about all of the sensory information you process on a day-to-day basis, from your phone to a computer to the outside world. It's overwhelming. Be aware of the world around you. And when you do, you can give yourself peace. You can relax in a chair and do that. You can kneel on the floor. You can sit cross-legged. You can just be mindful. Mindfulness can be available at any times. It is available. And so just concentrate, count backwards if you need to, whatever it is, be present. Inner peace is not something that is hard to get to. It's just an active choice. If you spend all your time doing stuff against your peace, you're going to spend a lot of time trying to make it up. So what can you do to help yourself feel grounded and intentional? There's so many benefits to showing up like this, other than just the daily center, more than just the feeling that you can connect with people in a way that is fulfilling. Peace of mind, this inner peace, offers the benefit of being able to concentrate. It's this way of being able to handle the day-to-day without feeling like everything is a struggle. It's a sense of inner power and strength. You'll have more patience and tolerance and tact. You'll have freedom from stress and anxieties and worries, not because they're not present, but because you know that you can get through them. You can fall asleep easier at night and sleep soundly. When your mind is at peace and not affected by what people think and say and do, you do have the ability to just be. A tranquil and peaceful mind is one that is restful. A tranquil mind helps you get into a state that is clear of judgment and only lives in poise and refinement. If you give away the state of your mind to things that are beyond your control, you will never find peace. What's most important to take away from all of this conversation is that peace is a practice. Mindfulness calls for action. Peace asks for personal investigation. You can't have perfect awareness and attention if you don't actually spend time practicing it. Right? Be in a space where you practice what works for you. I'm going to give you a couple quick little tools to use in order to get into the space of stillness and peace, especially right now during the holiday season, so that during a bad day or a time where you're being challenged, you can turn to these things and be okay. We've talked about these pieces that get in the way of our inner peace. And the first one is the outside circumstance. We want to train your mind into recognizing both good and bad, but also knowing that even the hardest moments are not permanent. So in a time where you're maybe having a hard day, I want you to sit and find a place to get quiet, to get silent for just 12 minutes. Close your eyes and begin to settle into your body. Feel yourself sitting still and feel that connection to the self, no matter what it is, and focus on your breathing. Bring your mind something difficult that you experienced right in that day, in that moment, and allow yourself to naturally move through it. Why are you feeling the way that you feel? And get into that space where you know it's okay to feel that way too. Pay attention to the feelings that rise. Allow yourself to move through them. When you bring awareness to how you feel, you can offer yourself compassion. If you have compassion, what naturally comes next is the release of the emotion, which then leads to that peace. Every moment of pain has an opposite reaction, so sit in it. It's okay, right? Another thing you can try is to really set time to like yourself. The self-talk you engage in, if it's really unkind all the time, inner peace is not going to happen. Or if you're being hit with a lot of negativity from the outside, that peace also is non-existent for you unless you're really mindful about it. So I want you to tune into the voice, tune into the words, acknowledge these thoughts, and decide, do they belong to me? Close your eyes if you need to. Get into a comfortable position. Bring your awareness into the sensation of your body and focus on how those thoughts feel from within you. Do you like it? Does it feel appropriate to be in your awareness? After a few minutes of sitting in it, decide, does this work for me? Does this actually support my overall goal of peace? If it doesn't, it's time to let it go. How do you do that? Breathe it away. Get up, write it out, do whatever you have to that makes it feel good, and know that that's not something you have to choose. Remember, inner peace is a choice. If your grandmother, your best friend, your mom, whoever it might be, is hitting you with a barrage of comments during the holiday season, decide, are you going to allow those things to rock your peace? If you're not, how will you move through them? And the last thing is to mindfully tune into the experiences that you're having and notice where you're struggling. Part of mindfulness is to recognize what you need in every moment. And so I invite you to respond to what you need, to your well-being, to your emotions, to your inner peace and freedom by getting into a space of asking yourself, what do I need right now? If what you need is the opposite of what's happening, give yourself the focus of what will take care of the self. What will allow you to return back to center. And from there, you can formulate a plan. If you continually tune into the needs of others and you're really pausing and acknowledging what they need and you're doing all the things for them, why can't you do it for you? You have to reflect on what the capability and capacity is for you to meet your needs and how will you do that? You offer yourself self-care, compassion, and patience in order to have self-support and therefore self-peace. Inner peace at any time is needed. It's necessary. It's beautiful. It's available to you. You have to get out of the thinking mind and act from a place where peace is your priority. It's okay to know that I will meet discomfort in my life. I will meet discomfort during the holiday season. I will come into a space where people need more from me than I can give to them, and I am okay with it. Because at the end of the day, my inner peace is my priority. And when you make your inner peace your priority, it's the essential place where you begin to navigate your life in a way that it is together. And that's the end goal. Give yourself space, intentionality, and ability, therefore permission to show up. It's okay, I promise. It's okay to do what you need as you need it for you. Because you can't be good for anyone else if you're not good for you. So do that. Make your inner peace your top priority now, in this month of December, and in all of the other months that follow for the rest of your days. Thank you so much for listening to the Get Your Life Together Girl podcast. If you're seeking daily inspiration and additional tools and tips, follow me on social media at Get Your Life Together Girl on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Clapper, and now Threads. You can also find me on YouTube. You can visit my website, getyourlifetogethergirl.com, for the show notes, a blog, a merch shop, and so much more. I hope you will visit it. If you have questions or would like a certain topic explored here on the podcast, please know all you have to do is write in at getyourlifetogethergirlnow@gmail.com. Thank you for being a valuable member of this community. Until next time, be kind to yourself and others.